let's take a look at some stuff. So we spin up the terminal, click here, which opens a new workspace. You might already be familiar with this. And let's drag this out over here. So let's look at one of the most important things to look at, I think, is open positioning and open positions. So in itself, it's not, it might give you some trades. Usually it doesn't, but it lets you know what the land is. And it lets you know how to tread around the land. So how do I look at open interest? Well, you want to go to the join module. You should check out the join module video. You go to the join module and you can either enter the command or press here. So join Apple OI. Now we don't want to look at Apple, we want to look at NVDA. So we're going to change the @ to the Apple to the @, which is going to pick up the symbol from here. And here we can type it in or just click here. So we click here and we have NVDA, right? And you can see NVDA right there. So what do we see? Right, so first, there's more puts than calls. All right, so this area right here, this tells you the aggregate of everything that's on top. So here we're looking at June 30th, July, August, and we go all the way to 2025. And here we see the aggregate calls, the aggregate puts for June. Here we see for July, more calls than puts. In September, more puts, a little bit more puts than calls. In 2024, a little bit more puts than calls. And in aggregate, there's more puts than calls. So, and this tells you the actual number. This is the sum of, so this is 1.59 million calls, 1.68 million puts. And you would also see the number in, so if we select fewer expirations, you can select fewer expirations by doing EXP 1 to 3 or 1 to 10 or whatever you want to do. So it's the first 5 expirations and you can see the numbers here. Now you can also see when you hover your mouse, it's going to tell you over here. So the values for the call, puts, and nets. So let's look at this bad boy over here, 500 strike down in July. Now this has 29K call, open interest, 85 puts. Interesting. Now, but what does that actually tell us? It doesn't really tell me much. I mean, it tells me that there's, it tells me that there's, well, more puts than calls, but there's nothing unusual about this. So usually in very big names like this, you'll see this, you'll see more calls and puts, more puts than calls, but it's very well spread out. So, let's look at Amazon. How's this boy looking? More calls than puts, but you don't have like a huge divergence. Now, to see something with a huge divergence, we can take a look at this. Well, let's take NVIDIA. No, let's take a look at this to see. So let's order by VFlow ratio, right? And it's gonna give us some wacky symbols. So let's check out KRO. Okay, now look at this. This is, look at this, like the yellow just screaming at you. So this is, oh, this is actually quite interesting. What is this UPLD? So the issue with UPLD is that today it had, where are we? UPLD, $6,000 of premium. Come on, that's nada. Okay, so yeah, so that's nada. But I mean, the profile is worth looking at. Like, look at all those calls. This is a lot of calls. This is a little amount of puts. This is a lot of calls. Look where these calls are. I mean, 3.4, the spot price, which is this red over here, is 3.4, and there's July calls for 15. I mean, is this gonna 5x until July? Well, these people here, 1,000 contracts seem to think so. 1,000. I'm looking at it right here when I hover it. Yeah. Anyway, back to NVIDIA, and I'm just gonna go flow again. And back to NVIDIA. So, you know, what is this telling us? Not really that much. Let's look at volume. So we change this. So I know all the commands, obviously, but if we're at OI, you want to look at volume, you go here, and you, where are we? This one is, you want to look at volume, right? And you click go. And that's gonna give you, so now look how different this is, you know, and you can compare how different the volume and OI profiles is. We can make this way smaller, and you can split this and look at this. So joy at OI. So look at this, this is all spread out all over the place, because this is the open interest that's been accumulating for, you know, who knows how long. This is today's volume, and today's volume is almost always very focused on the near expirations, especially for heavy stocks like NVIDIA. So what do we have? More calls than puts. Interesting. Oh, look at that one right there. Let's close this. Look at this one. This is some July 550 calls. Now that's something, you know, when you have spikes that look like way over there, and let's compare it. Let's compare it with Apple. So look at Apple. So in Apple, you know, it's very similar, centered around the June 30 expiration, more calls than puts. So you don't have as much if we look at the first expiration, and we look also here at the first expiration, so you'll see that here, you know, there's more calls than puts. Here, there's also more calls than puts, and you can see this aggregate, you know, this yellow bar is more calls than puts, which is the blue bar. But this is a much more normal, a normal distribution, like actually the normal distribution. This right here, look at that. You've got some puts over here, huge protection, 400 protection, and some, you know, 530 calls for June 30. What day's today? June 26. 530. Come on, man. But anyway, so next the question is: are these buys or are these sells? Right. So let's find out. So for that, you do vol BS. That tells you the buys, the net buys and sells. So will you look at that? Let's focus in on EXP 1 to 5. Boom, 1 to 4. Look at that. So this one here, that's a buy. So the bars here, so this is to the left means sell, net call selling, net put buying. Here net call buying, and it's pretty clearly this 550 strike right there. And this one is net call selling, but look at that. That's a huge buy. That's 530, that 530, and you can see the number right here, 530 on strike. Yeah, strike 530, nearly 10K net buying on that strike. So that's, you know, that's something right there. What else would you want to see? So I want to look at, so this is a big one for me, terms, and let's do like 10 days of terms. So you want to see how this volatility compares to NM, to remove the margins, how this volatility compares to its historical. So right now, volatility has been rising on NVIDIA. The yellow line is above the red line, and this is for the nearer expirations. It's been rising, and if we take a look at Skew for NVIDIA, and you're going to see calls more expensive than puts. So on NVIDIA, even though the open interest is, and let's see what we've learned so far, you know, let's look at the whole thing and do this on OI as well. So the whole thing. So on OI, it's well protected. You know, you have more puts than calls because, you know, the NVIDIA rally has been just insane. So that's what we have. That's information we have on OI. But then on today's volume, there's some, it's unusual. These spikes right here, over here and over here, this is unusual. I mean, these are some pretty big spikes, very bullish spikes. I mean, this is call buying for 550 strike in July 21. And you see what's cool about this, that you can just look at, you know, look at this and you right there say like, oh, there's put buying on June 30, there's call buying on July 21 on strike 550, there's call selling over here on strike 300. This is in 2024. So this year, this is, I mean, it's unusual action. So then also very important to me is the implied volatility of the term structure, which has been rising. And it's, so, you know, there's the expectation of volatility and the price of options has been rising, and it's been rising. You have the risk on the upside. So the market is pricing the NVIDIA risk on the upside. Now, does that mean that NVIDIA is going to go up? No, it does not. It just means that the market is the market is pricing risk to the upside. And sorry about that. And I mean, I think we can close it up for now. And then you can go ahead and save this good old layout. And yeah, let's just save this layout here. And oh, that's something I can do. I can save a workspace with the different video name. Let's just go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna edit this, and this is part 3, because the first part of the videos is the how-to on the platform. The second part second is of the videos is the different modules, and now part 3 of the videos is just going over, you know, rants and stuff. So that's what we have going on here. This is part 3, episode 1, and we're just gonna P3E1. All right, cool. That's what we got for today. So how do you get this? If you want to see exactly what I'm looking at, so you're gonna go to, you open up your terminal, you go over here. Yeah, you're gonna go to public collections, and you're gonna go all the way to the bottom, you know, scroll all the way to the bottom, and this here, P3E1, there it is. You will be able to open it by clicking there. You can, you know, clone it by clicking there. So you do that, and kaboom. So now you have exactly what I was looking at with this layout. Click there. This is exactly what we just looked at in this video. All right, awesome. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you for listening.